Ready. We're
Ready.
recording. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 157 of your Endless Ranters podcast. We do what we want and we appreciate your support. My name's Chris. I'm one of your hosts for this evening. I'm joined by Robbie Spotlight. What up, Daddy-O?
What up, homies?
Not too much is up, really. You may be able to tell I'm in a very peaceful mood, and it's the Soggy Mom living in the Crunchy Mom's world. Juana, how you doing?
Very grateful to be soggy this week, especially this week.
That's
Very
good.
grateful. Yeah.
You have to tell us why. The man with the plan is not here. He had other plans, I guess. He really did have another plan.
He's mulling around underground.
Yeah.
Yep.
Live and love.
Yeah, you never know. You never know
Mhm.
what this cat's up to. But he could be drumming.
Mhm.
In drumming marathon.
Concerts.
Anyway.
He likes concerts.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
How you guys doing? For real. What's going on?
Well, you know me. I mean, I don't know if the people out there are interested, but I've got the in-laws still at home with us.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. So
Yeah.
Robbie's living the in-law life.
Yeah.
You should get a like the Salt Life stickers that people put in their
Uh-huh.
cars for when
Yeah.
when they don't live anywhere near water.
Didn't you have
But,
like
like-
11 people under your roof at one point?
Is
We did.
that even legal?
No.
That's not up to code.
No.
That is not up to code. California's like, this is illegal.
So no more 11 people. Now it's we're down. What, three people? So my sister-in-law she was with us for some time, and her two girls, because they were looking for an apartment. So I think I told you guys, my sister-in-law's husband passed away. He was having health issues. It's been going on for a while, so it was not a surprise. It was going to happen, and that's why the in-laws are here. So we were able to find them a place, to stay. So now they're at a place. It's not the greatest place out there, but at least it's theirs, so that's cool. She's a nice lady and all that stuff. I've got the in-laws, I've got the niece at home. And I think we've got our chat. We talk about this. So there's a guy kind of hovering around, and, someone that she's been acquainted with. So he's been showing up at home every now and then. And, it's kind of bothered me because, I'm one of the two people of the house. I'm the man of the house, and that, makes decisions and all that stuff. And one of the things that kind of bothers me is people, when people invite people without telling the person that pays the bills and the person that pays to live there and all that stuff. And it might sound bad, but it's not bad. It's not like, hey, I'm, because of me.
Did anybody at any time, without thinking, say, yeah, sure, like give them like the old, yeah, whatever, yeah, anytime, no big deal? To where they in their mind, they're just like, well, this is freaking sweet. Like,
Yeah, I
Right.
think they might have asked maybe the in-laws or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure, but like, what about this
So
guy over
is
here?
there another man of the house if your father-in-law is there? Like, I mean, out of respect, like maybe
what's
he went to him.
he could have. You know what's funny? I like him a lot. I like my father-in-law. He's got his own issues and stuff like that, but I admire the guy. Why? Because he's visiting from Mexico. His daughter was going through a hard
Oh.
time.
Horrible, the worst.
Yeah, and then he came to help out, and he helps out a lot. When he gets here, he checks, everyone's issues, the cars, what's everything okay here, boom, boom, boom. And he's not here to for vacation. So me as a
No.
dad now, as a girl dad, I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
He's doing it right. So he's doing it right. But another thing that I do like about him, he gives me my place. You know what I mean?
Good.
Whether he might think I'm this or that, he
doesn't
knows.
overstep.
Yeah, so I like that. I respect him for that.
You know what, Robbie? I feel like you
Like
should go to
mothers and
him.
mother-in-laws do.
You should
That's-
go to
Maybe we
him
can stick to
because
the
maybe
dads.
he would speak down. Like maybe he would talk to the rest of his.
You should send
You
him
know?
to school with your stepson.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Be
yeah.
like-
When it's
And just tell him they can't cancel you. You're not even,
You're
a
not-
citizen here.
Yeah,
like,
he's gonna leave
what
anyway.
are they going to do?
Yeah. So I was telling you, right? So
What are they going to do? Oh, like shout at an immigrant? You know what I
No.
mean?
No,
Like,
that's
no.
no, that's we
That
can't
is
tolerate
forbidden
that
in
here.
You
San
should send them.
Francisco.
Yeah, you should
That is
send them. Like,
forbidden.
Plus,
you got to
this-
come around. You got to come around on
Yeah.
the important months.
yeah, this is a sanctuary state, so you can't do that
You
to
you
us.
could go to
That's right,
jail.
that's
You could
right.
go to jail for that in San
Yeah.
Francisco.
So I
Do they
told you
still-
guys.
They're probably like filling out like proper paperwork and stuff, and it's like people are just like, you don't even need this shit. You know?
Nah,
whatever.
nah.
Whatever.
Skip. So, but I think I told you guys, the niece is staying with us, which I like her a lot. She helps out with the baby, and she's very sweet and everything and all that stuff. And she was also looking for a place, so she's staying with us, which is I told her, I said, hey, you're always welcome here. Even my wife has told her, oh yeah, he's always said when he found out that you were gonna look for a place, he said, well, if she needs a place to stay, then she can stay with us. Great, no problem. But the thing is, there's a love interest out there now, which I didn't think it would come that quickly. I really didn't think so. I was already kind of looking ahead, like, oh, I hope she finds herself like some nerdy guy that'll treat her well, blah blah. Because that's how I feel about my daughter later on. Like, I want
Sure.
some, a nerdy,
He's gotta be
respectful guy that
nerdy.
that can change her tires, all that stuff,
Yeah.
but there's a guy around, and then he started coming around the house, like, and I'm like, wait a minute, who invited,
Where's he live?
he lives about maybe half an hour from where we are.
With who?
I think he rents a room.
Mhm.
Yeah, he rents a room. He's got a couple kids also.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So there's a shared custody thing and everything. My main issue there's a couple issues, right? One issue is I didn't want her jumping.
You need to just run him off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't want her
You gotta-
jumping.
Or
Uh-huh.
and as Adam Carolla talks about, like, white privilege, sometimes white privilege would be just like, as a man of the house, like, you're not in my immediate family, like, I didn't create you,
Yeah.
child. Like,
Yeah.
so like you got problems, like, you want to run
Yeah.
off with this dude, like,
Yeah.
I don't
And-
know.
and-
That's the niece is her father
Sister's-
or stepdad
hers-
just passed away, or
Yeah,
this is
stepdad.
different. This is a different niece.
Stepdad. Yeah.
Stepdad. Okay.
Stepdad, and she did,
don't know.
and not to stay with her mom.
Yeah, you need to either
'cause-
run this dude off,
Yeah.
if you're going to keep her in your, within your
Inner
habitat,
circle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
within your group.
Uh,
Robbie, you're gonna have to start peeing on that
or
dude.
if not, yeah,
peeing on the guy.
Yeah.
I'd love to. The
Yeah.
thing is unfortunately it's so this is what happened. So my wife tells me on Sunday morning, oh, hey, my mom told me that he wants to talk to you. And I'm like, what? Like, he can't come up to me, because we had a Father's Day kind of lunch, all of us, except for my dad. I saw him earlier in the day, and then I went to see everybody else afterwards. So he was there. I said hi. I shook his hand. I was respectful and stuff like that. He could have come up to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to see if you have a minute so we can talk." And if it's cool with you, can we
How
talk?
old are these people?
He's about 35. She's
Oh.
about 22. Yeah, exactly.
you need to just
Yeah.
run this guy off. man.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need to run them off.
yeah. And then I need to be careful because the wife sometimes watches this.
The
And-
wizard has spoken.
So, but we
or she need that her and this dude need to, like, get
Yeah.
what-
Go
it's like
stay at
if
his
you're
room.
gonna condone it, then it's like move along with it. Then
yeah.
get your own place and get serious, or run this dude off. Like,
Yeah,
again,
I don't want rando dudes
look
around my
around,
kid.
look for the highest tree, climb
Yeah.
it, start breaking off branches, start acting crazy like Jackson,
I
like Jackson and
mentioned
Chimp
that.
Empire.
I mentioned that maybe it. I still haven't watched the show, but maybe it was the way I expressed myself, but like Quana said, I don't want some rando dudes around my girl and all that stuff. Like, dude, like too soon, like too fast, too soon, like coming around the house, like too, like, but unfortunately, this is the issue that I have where other parties get involved in the decision making of the household when it should be, the two adults here. And then when the other adult gives like a guilt trip or whatever about, well, I have to kind of watch what I say because the parents will get offended and blah 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 and I'm like, dude, like, thankfully I'm like,
That's why you need to go to the dad. You need to go to the lead chimp and have a council. You guys have to have a council.
Jackson had a secondary chimp who was like his greatest ally. I forget what his name was, but maybe his name was Miles or something like that.
The father-in-law.
He could have been older, but like they just they would groom each other. And I'm not saying you do that. That would be weird if you walked
don't
up.
Don't touch your father-in-law's balls.
Don't touch his hair.
No.
But like
no grooming.
Yeah, but they were like they were buddies, they were like,
Yeah.
When one was, when one didn't want to, had the energy to like act out and scare everybody else, like the other one would step up and act out.
Yeah. You need to exert your, like, this is my castle. How would you suggest I put my foot down in it?
So here's what, like, or also like, what if you just, when this dude's not around and you started saying like, man, fuck this, fuck this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you would say it, but like, if you just started like giving off like like just make it clear, just make it clear, like you're not happy this dude's around. Like,
he'll
probably hear about it. He'll start. He just won't be around as much.
I've made it clear, and then I've become the bad guy in the picture with the family. Unfortunately,
well, if you're the bad guy to him though, at the same time, then like, sometimes that's, it's just how it's got to go down.
Yeah. But to me, unfortunately, some of these people make it into a way big deal. And I'm like, wait a minute. Don't, they feel like, okay, the family's going to turn their back on the rest of the family with the I don't know, the niece and whatever, and then she's gonna leave and never talk to the family again. But I'm like, wait a minute, can we just sit down and talk and say, look, this is what's going on. This is too soon. Maybe you guys should chill, whatever. I'm not, if the dude that's got a room somewhere, if they're upset with you because the dude that's got a room somewhere or whatever stops coming around and contributing, and he stops contributing the nothing that he was already contributing, like, okay, that's their problem. And unfortunately, it hasn't been nothing that he's been very helpful, like especially during this time that's with the family's going through. So he's been offering a lot of his services.
Okay. That counts for something, I guess. Like if it's sustained,
it does count for something, but at the same time, it's like, what's the saying? Don't ever let a tragedy go to waste. So, okay, tragedy. All right. All right. This is my chance.
Well, here's the flip side before we can just agree that I'm right. Here's the flip side. Like, if there is something, keep them close. There's one part of that is like, all right, well, you'd rather be here than like off in this room, whatever. Or
my wife sort of said that. Keep them close.
You should get him like with you, like outside barbecuing, like squeeze his shoulder. And
but then, but it does become like you can only, if you've got, you can only keep so many people close. That according to the square footage you got, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody's a fucking Rockefeller, and keep like multiple extensions of your family close, and their dating woes. But I'm sure you'll do way more than is required of you, man. So
I think I have. I just can't say it because, of course, that's arrogant. And if I'm like, well, I did this, I did that, you know what I mean? But no, we talked. So we finally,
You should put a list on the fridge of what you do.
oh, well,
People
yeah,
like
they
that.
don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear, they don't want to hear that. I know that they don't recognize it, but they don't want to hear. I mean, they're not gonna, don't worry. I had a
Okay.
talk with my dad, and actually he said, son, in marriages, the husband, the dad is usually the person to know the least about what's going on. So I'm like, I can see that. I can see that. But look, to make a long story short, we had a talk. I said, okay, let's talk. I said, me, you, which is my wife, the niece, and the boyfriend. I said, okay, we'll talk. We'll sit down. We'll talk. I went to we met up at a restaurant. I showed up first. I sat down. I waited. I had notes. I literally wrote down notes.
Okay.
And then they showed up separately. My wife showed up a little bit before. Then they showed up. And, I think he stated his case, and he said, basically, we got off kind of on the wrong foot, and, all this stuff. These are sort of my intentions. And then I kind of said my piece, and I said, one of my main things, like I said, is, look, first of all, no one introduced me to you, so I don't know who you were. No one, like, normally you want someone to say, hey, this is so-and-so, this is blah, 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 da, da, da. And then secondly is, all these, a lot of decisions are being made right now regarding my home, but I'm like the guy that's being left out. So I said, I don't appreciate that. So I said that also, and I
he's
told
breaking
him,
some man code that,
Yeah.
well, he's old enough. He should know. He should know. This,
he should.
So the code, like part of being a man and being friends with a man is like, you don't burden them, and you don't like this dude is maximizing the energy it requires of you to like, be in some kind of relationship, so
Yeah.
like the part of being a man is like, we want to be want to be as close as friends as possible with the minimal effort.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you're making me try you're making me think about this too much. Like you're making me like,
yeah, you're thinking about it too much.
You're making me hear about your
1,000,000%.
past and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're really making me put a lot of energy into this relationship, and I don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate it. You know what I mean?
And ultimately I said, look, whether I agree with whatever, at least we're talking, and I'm not going to agree. I may not agree with everything going on. I told him,
But
because
you're still going to do whatever your wife says.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I did appreciate that she kind of was, for the most part, kind of behind me and kind of reinforced what I was saying.
Okay.
Because I think I told you guys, I might have mentioned it on the show. The niece is also getting divorced. So the paperwork, from what I understand, is being, personally, I feel like this is too fast, too soon.
She's 22 and getting divorced. When did she get married?
About a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then obviously she gave me her version and why and stuff like that, which I appreciate. And then the ex was texting me as well, which I did not appreciate. I like the guy and stuff, and I felt bad for him, especially right now, this time. I'm sure all this going on was kind of driving him crazy, especially,
It sounds very layered.
Yeah,
there's a lot of layers.
You got a lot of MFers putting a lot on you, boy.
Oh
yeah.
It's time to start.
11 MFers with input.
The last text I sent him was, I said, hey man, I'm not trying to ignore you and stuff like that. I understand.
It's like, I'm not trying to, I am.
But I said,
I totally am. I'm not trying.
I don't want any issues with my family at home. I want peace and stuff like that. And I didn't mean it like in a bad way against him, but if I'm over, then I may be seen as me taking sides or this or that. And the only side that I should be taking, it should be like my wife and kids or whatever, and not creating any issues. Cause when there's issues revolving the family, that actually, it can create problems with the couple as well. Even if we have nothing to do with it, it can, and it kind of has, which I recently told her, I said, look, everything was fine. Like we were good up until all this started going on. And then I'm being looked at as the bad guy. I'm like, dude,
my Korean stepmother, like part of the responsibility was on all the other people too. And I've made a lot of mistakes in my life for sure. But my Korean stepmother told me once, it was some saying, like some old saying she was trying to tell me about how, like, if as a brother to my sister was married, and she was like, as a brother, like you have a responsibility, like not to like cause like to like, if your sister, like if you're, out like going nuts and whatever, if you're just living or whatever and you're causing your sister to worry, like you may be causing disharmony in your sister's marriage. And like every sibling, like every part, like it's kind of like everything matters. And like everybody in your circle and your family, like their relationships, their activities, their lifestyle, like kind of affects everything. So it's like, if she's out there, like she kind of has a responsibility to, if she's going to be around and be around your family and your young children and her relatives, like she kind of has a responsibility to,
that's right.
Keep it tight, keep it, like an added responsibility than if she was like single,
she's a burden
tons
on
of
your
money,
family,
plenty of money, has her own place.
Yeah.
So like if you have your own place and all that stuff and you're living the, living the lifestyle in New York City and you just, you're single and loving it, like, like you do your own damage, you have no real responsibilities. But if you're kind of in some other family's
personal space,
what is it called?
Living room,
like the ecosystem or environment or orbit.
Well, look, with her, look, I don't see it as a burden. She's been very helpful with the baby and stuff like that. Last time my wife fell asleep, the baby was not going to sleep. She woke up and she's like kind of turning and whatever. So I walk out of the room, and then my mother-in-law was right there. She said, "Oh, you want me to hold her?" I said, "Sure, okay." I mean, I never refused.
Yeah.
But the niece wanted to hold her, so eventually she did, and she put her to sleep. She's very good with kids. Like she's very, but obviously, like I said,
you tell her like sounds like she's got a lot going for her. She could probably do better. So, she owes it to herself and your entire family. Like maybe she could probably maybe do a little better.
Just,
chill,
just a little chill. But
like minimum requirements, dude's got his own place.
Yeah.
Or
you handle all of your shenanigans with that dude at his place.
Yeah.
Or a good move would be just lay low. Like, maybe you should just like,
or just
come around every now and then, but like, you should probably not.
Yeah.
That's
like
the best for your situation. I feel like,
I think ultimately we kind of reached an agreement sort of, to, okay, fine. You'll stop by. But I did tell him, look, I said, me and her, we're still newlyweds. We have a new baby, brand new baby. So we do value our, space.
Family
I told him,
time.
And it's the truth. People got to realize. So I think, he will be stopping by, but I just don't like abuse. like no, not abuse, but I don't like abuse, but like when people kind of abuse, the welcoming at the house and stuff like that. But ultimately, like sense. I said, just honesty. I find what I said was, I said, look, we're doing it now. This is what we should have done from the beginning. We should have sat down and talked it out.
Yeah.
And I told him whether I agree with this or not, or with other things, it's, at least we've talked it out. I told her even in front of him, I said, look, one thing I respectfully advise you, and I was telling you, I said, is just don't rush into things too fast. You're young, and but that's you're gonna do what you're gonna do. But this is just my opinion. So, but ultimately things ended civilly. It not that they started rudely, and I didn't want any macho stuff either. Like I wanted to just sit down and just talk it out.
I feel like you have a very macho heart, but like your outer shell is not so much. Like that's not who you really are. But I feel like inside maybe you have like this macho screaming voice in your head. But
I think so. I'm very like protective. I mean, I don't say the term or the phrase man of the house a lot, because I know there's a woman of the house. I mean, but technically I am the man of the house. There's a woman of the house.
Right.
But I said it a few times. I said her and I, we make the decisions together. I said, we appreciate input from our parents, her parents, my parents, but ultimately it's her and I who decide on things. Because I want people to know. I've even told my parents, like, thanks for not, in the past, I've told them, thanks for not getting up in their business, because
Yeah.
I know that that creates problems with the wife and vice versa as well.
Yeah.
So so things I think are a little better now. So you guys know me, like on the chat, I'm like, oh, here we go, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I am the tiger. But yeah, maybe I've got kind of like a macho thing.
I do think you need to lay back though. Like, I just feel like there's so much going on in that family. That's like within their family, there's a divorce, there's a death, like there's so many things.
Yeah.
So like, if you're throwing a fit about something that like maybe they need this little extra bit of comfort or whatever.
And if I kind of blow it out of proportion, or if I react in a more kind of negative, maybe to their minds, a negative way, then I'm adding to that negativity, which I don't want to. It's not coming out of negativity, but it may come out that way, but
right.
I think things are improving.
I think you handled it good. That's good.
No, thank you. No, I feel like I feel like we sat down, we talked, even and my wife even looked at me at one point. She goes, okay, did you say everything you needed to say? And I showed her my phone. I'm like, well, I've got these notes over here, but I think so. I said, okay. And we talked for a little bit, but we talked for like maybe 2 hours.
Well, good.
But yeah,
I'm glad that you guys got it all worked out.
Yeah. We didn't, do the rooster, chest pumped out, and
That's good. There's no room for that right now. Their family's going through tragedy, so
a lot of tragedies, a lot of family stuff, a lot of submarine tragedies, all that. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Almost forgot.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my gist. I'm sorry, everybody, but this is what's going on with me. I've been preoccupied. But what about you guys? Anything going on?
I'm about to go on vacation.
Oh, that's right. The water,
I'm about
right?
to check out. Oh yeah.
So
I'm gonna go down through San Antonio and stay at Hill Country for a couple days, and then head down to the Gulf and Padre Island National Seashore. That's what it's called, Mustang Island, something like that. But yeah, I'm about ready to just forget the world for all the way until after July 4th. I timed it just right, so I got like a week and a half, just nothing, clear space.
Perfect.
So I've already forgotten half of Hunter Biden's crimes, which is a lot to forget.
Boy,
it's like 400 crimes.
Just the hits just keep on coming. Like, it's easy to forget. They layer on top of each other.
Yeah. Well, there was something I didn't forget because it's all very new. Like the last 2 days, I think it's just the last 2 days it came out. There's a text message where he sent where he's like, I'm sitting here next to my dad and I'm wondering why your part of the deal hasn't come through yet. And it's like a very threatening text message about his personal business.
It's unbelievable.
It is. Well, to be fair, it's like, it's possible that he's not he's a man of many flaws, but he's not an unintelligent person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's maybe conniving, maybe.
I just feel like
might be a better way to
feel like they're untouchable, and they are. They will be proven again to be untouchable. So say whatever you want.
I gotta say, like,
you want. Give money to whoever
he's a
you
cheat.
want.
Like, Joe Biden is a cheat. Well, I guess he's the president now, but he was just a vice president, and he was a long-standing senator and a VP for a couple terms. But buffoon, when he was a VP, he was a buffoon at a very hot, with a spotlight on him. But like before that, he was just like a long-serving senator. But man, he managed to store up a lot of like protection for himself and his family, like with not really being that I mean, it's crazy to say that because he's the president now, but like
Yeah.
We know why he's the president. It's like kind of like he's just a, an empty head that they could put up there on Zoom meetings that, to get, and people hated Donald Trump enough, but like just for really kind of a unimpressive, like plagiarism filled career.
Mm-hmm.
A
he's been responsible for
like
a lot of horrible things that have come to pass. Like
tons of lies, like even before he was president, just lie after lie after lie, like racist comment after race. Like he still managed to like build up this protection for him and his son. I don't know if it's going to last. If I was Hunter Biden,
I think it's
I'd
when you
still be
have
very
that
worried.
look, right? Like Joe
Or it
Biden
just
always
looks like
had that
old
look. Like
politician.
he's no, like he was like the cool guy with the glasses. Like he was always just a little bit like.
Was he?
I think that's what they tried to push on people, right?
I don't know. I think I don't know.
There was literally a coloring book with him with no clothes on in 2016, 17, whenever the election was.
Really? I mean, they're the sycophants that are like the crazy campaign people that are just like, he's the greatest president ever, but like, you can't really say, other than those people that are paid to say those types of things.
Joe Biden coloring book, Robbie, find that.
No one is impressed. Like no one is ever like this, that Joe Biden, he's a substantial, like dignified,
my son,
like just classy. Like no one thinks highly of him.
I mean, people loved Obama and they loved Joe Biden. They loved that.
They loved Obama.
They loved it.
I do agree that people have a special affinity for Obama for some reason, several reasons, but like I don't agree that, other than people that are just paid to, or they're just so hyper left political that they've convinced themselves that Joe Biden's great. Like no one is impressed by it. Like no one is fond of him. Like no one, like he's just
a
kind
war
of like
hero. People, I mean, he's a Gold Star family. Yes, I think he had a little bit of something, right? Am I making that up?
I honestly don't know what his son Bo. I don't know what his war record was. I don't know that he was.
Didn't he die like? Or no, he died of something else. Never mind. He's not Gold Star.
Was it cancer?
Right?
Are you shitting me? Joe Biden is out there lying and saying that his son Bo died in Iraq. Like he literally says that his son Bo died in Iraq. His son Bo died of brain cancer in the United States, but I think people, like maybe certain things he did in Iraq or things he was exposed to. Because I don't think.
Am I saying that, or you're saying that?
No, you were kind of repeated what Joe Biden always lies about. That his son, his son was like a war hero that died in Iraq or something like that. Because Joe Biden says it, but it didn't happen.
Okay.
Maybe he thinks the burn pits or something that he was exposed to over there caused the brain cancer or caused cancer in some people. I think that's probably. I think that's water level. I think that's kind of proven, or at least that's been settled, and the government has, admitted, culpability and paid settlements, whatever for that. But I don't think Joe Biden's son, Bo Biden, was like digging the burn pits. Like, I don't think he was like I don't think he was a grunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he was probably
than those little Africans in the cobalt mines.
But I don't know. I really don't know. I'm assuming that he didn't enlist as like an infantryman and like was like on the front lines in Iraq, like, running alongside tanks. And I doubt it, but I could be wrong. But his other son was also in the military, but I think, how did Hunter Biden, when did he leave the military? I think he was, he was kicked out of the military because he was a drug addict.
Crackhead.
Yeah. Dishonorable discharge or whatever, but yeah, that's crazy. So that's all been like just crazy. I mean, what should be damning news, evidence, reports, story, whatever you want to call them, like should be very
damning. He wrote off prostitutes and sex clubs on his taxes.
Yeah, all the stuff that's coming out like is overwhelming, really. Like Yeah.
Somebody in the Adam Carolla group said, "Who doesn't?
What's that?
Who doesn't write off sex clubs and
Yeah.
prostitutes on their tax?" Good
Yeah,
point.
something like
Oh
he
my
didn't pay
God.
tax on like $8 million or something like that.
Just don't do what Jerry
And he
Springer
was like,
did.
I'm sorry. He was like, I'm sorry. And they're like, are you sure? And he's like, yes, I'm sure. I was like, okay.
Oh,
He's like, okay,
crazy.
we're good then. Don't do it again, right? Never do it again. No.
Nuts.
And Joe Biden, Joe Biden's kind of a genius in some way, because his whole thing in the campaign was like, he just says like this one simple statement: my son and I never discuss his personal business.
Yeah.
He just says it over and over, even when there's like evidence that like, well, there's a
You
video of
did.
you, there's a video like there, like there's evidence of like
You're
all his
literally
business
on a business
partners
trip
are
with
like
him.
meeting with you, like you're on the same, well, you're not at the conversations, but like, and he's just like, and then his response is always like, his response is just so simple, like, my son and I never talked about this, like, and then because like the last couple of days they've been asking him, what do you think about your son? He settled with the IRS and settled with the Department of Justice for tax fraud and breaking gun laws on his application. And his response is just so simple, and it seems to just work in this system he's built around himself, which is just, he's just like, my son did nothing wrong, I'm so proud of him. And everybody's just like, what but what about the charges? Like, my son did nothing wrong and I'm so proud of him. And he's just like, I'm an old man now, I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah.
Then backstage is just like, yeah. They still don't
backstage
know
he rips that mask off. I'm just kidding.
Backstage is just like, they still don't know who the big guy is, do they?
Yeah, the big guy.
And then like and it's like they know that, I think Joe Biden at this point knows he's going to be, if he's coherent, he knows he'll be dead by the time they unravel it all. Like, just simple math, it'll take him 5-10 years to like figure out who opened up all these shell companies and their names, and like they had just
it's not like he could even
evidence
lead
out
them
there.
in the direction. I mean, he doesn't even know. He can't even walk off of the stage. He couldn't tell them where he put the money.
Yeah, there's clear evidence.
What?
There's clear evidence that like even the money that Hunter Biden was getting paid, that he says was for legitimate work, for some reason it went through like 4 shell companies.
Yeah.
Before it got to him, like for no reason. It's just and it's just, anybody asks, I mean, that's the way the laws are set up. But it's like, if someone asks like, why did you have these shell companies set up? They're like, none of your business. Do I? And they're like, Judge, do I have to tell them why I set up these shell companies? And the judge is just like, no, you don't have to tell them. And then the Hunter Biden just sitting there like, none of your business.
Well, in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, to be fair, I mean, a lot of money was offshore. Like I was like the thing to do, like regular people did it. You know what I mean?
It's very common. If you Google something like the Panama Papers, that was a somewhat recent BBC Panorama documentary where they had like huge leaks. That's why they know a lot about Volodymyr Zelensky. The Winston Churchill of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Of 2023.
I love when I see him dancing in those big high platform shoes and the tight fishnets, leather pants. It's like, fishnet what the tops. Fuck? What in the fuck?
Yeah.
What the actual fuckity fuck?
It was like if Barry Gibb became president in the 80s or some shit like that. Sorry, that's not very timely, but I don't have any other. Can't think of. Perfect. If Sam Smith, that's.
Totally. Same outfit, same shoes for sure.
Well, no, neither American.
They're red.
I don't know if Barry Gibb was American. I think he was British.
Oh, yeah, or Australian, British.
Oh, yeah, Australian.
Yeah, Australian.
Yep. So I don't know what we're talking about.
Submarines, submersibles.
Oh yeah, and then you got the submarine stuff happening over top of it, and it's like
over the top of it or laid in front of it.
I mean, that's just lucky timing. Or no. I guess maybe they waited for the next like human tragedy, like landslide, like either, hey, the next time there's a landslide in Haiti, or like there's like some, like crazy submersible, or maybe a balloon boy, like we gotta
Right.
that's when we announce that we're settling with the, that Hunter Biden and the department. That's when we announce it all. And
But don't you think every day that there's some sort of something like that where 5 people die or 60 people go missing, or there's 70,000 missing children that have come across the border that Child Protective Services or whatever put them places, but they don't know where they're at. Like all of these things are happening. Like they just could pick them to yell at us when there's something bigger happening underneath. They can just pick the
they
one
can just
thing
pick. Yeah, sure.
that's going on.
Yep.
So this week it was a submersible. We may
Could
never
be
have
like
heard
a
about that
children's
if it
soccer
wasn't-
team trapped in a mine in the Philippines or something. It could be, some, real, just really not, let's just say unwise explorers getting into like some shit box tube and going to depths that, the United States Navy doesn't bother going to.
It was their 4th trip down, though. I mean, they're trying to. This is what I was going to tell you guys. So, Rob Lowe was on Joe Rogan, and he told a story about James Cameron and Bill Pullman being down in another company's submersible, touring the Titanic, and when they came up, it was on 9/11. Like they came up, it was 9/11, like when the buildings crashed down. James Cameron was down having lunch in a submersible on the Titanic with Bill Pullman.
That's crazy. Bill Pullman, that's the Bill Pullman or Bill Paxton?
The Big Love guy. The Big Love guy.
Bill Paxton. Okay. Bill Paxton. They were buddies.
Because he was in the movie Titanic, right? And Bill Pullman was the president in
Independence Day.
You're right.
Bill Paxton was in many James Cameron movies.
Was he?
Did you guys watch Big Love? That was the best series. I loved that series.
No.
Sister Wives.
I'm sure that was a big hit in your area in the Soggy Mom world.
I'm ex-Mormon, so I love
not actually doing it, but like, just.
You're ex-Mormon? What?
Have you not been listening for the last year?
Wait, where was I?
She had to sign papers.
An attorney. Yeah, I had to hire an attorney.
Man.
She had to build a doll and burn it to get out.
Okay. Oh shoot.
I fought my way out.
What about Scientologists? Not there yet.
No cults for me.
Okay.
Although I did hear about that finger banging cult, so I mean, maybe.
Finger banging cult?
Yeah, there's some new documentary on Netflix about a guy that got women into his cult for that.
Whoa.
And that's all. Well, let me guess. That's like the cult. The cult is that's all he does.
Yeah.
But in the opposite direction, it's full service. It's a smorgasbord of activities.
Yeah,
that he gets to enjoy.
I haven't watched it. I heard about it on For Crying Out Loud. Patrick was on this.
All
week
they
and
get
they
is
were
manual satisfaction, and he gets whatever. Like just.
But I guess the guys are like kind of a little bit creepy, maybe a little chubby and creepy. That's. I mean, I only heard about it.
You do not.
You saw this on Real Sex on HBO. This don't even bring that shit up on here.
Lynette Carolla's podcast For Crying Out Loud. Patrick Hickey was on it. And he was talking about his bad TV podcast, but they were talking about things that they were watching, and they brought up a documentary that's on Netflix about a cult that is about that.
It sounds like something that, like, when I was 14, it was on Real Sex on HBO, and I was like, "This is going to be incredible." But then it's then it's like
not so incredible.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't eaten that last Hot Pocket.
Real Sex taught me 2 things: that I never need to find a nude beach, and swinging is not for me.
Oh, I can tell you a nude beach story, but like, that's what, one of the things that's what got me with Adam Carolla early on when I started listening to him, many, many years ago now. was, yeah, he would just talk about that, like that, how things are just not what they seem.
Mhm.
No, that show is the worst, the
No.
very worst.
So I was a, I don't even know if I was a teenager yet. I was probably in middle school, and my family, we used to go to Martha's Vineyard on vacation, like for entire summers, because my stepdad was
Fancy.
like a
Well,
counselor or something like that.
la-ti-da.
Yeah, it was like the luckiest thing in the world. I just fish, like we lived in this pond, like it was incredible. Just safe too. Like we just roam wherever we wanted at any
Thank
time.
your mom for that.
But yeah, now I forget what I'm talking about. But
Nude beach.
yeah, we went to,
Beaches.
I think there's a town like Edgerton or something like that, or where there's a nude beach. And me and my stepbrothers were like, and they had these like things like looking over with those things where you put a quarter in and it turns on the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did it. And we're like, oh my God, like there's gonna be a nude beach. Like, let's see some,
Boobies.
yeah, we're gonna, and it's just like just old people and swinging meat. And it's like,
Oh man.
all right,
Robbie, there's a beach in San Francisco,
someone needs to
right,
go to jail
Robbie?
for this.
Baker Beach.
Every time my kids go there, they're like, "There's some naked old dude."
Baker Beach. I've been there. We sat down and
Yeah.
ate sandwiches on the sand.
I later went to a nude beach when I was backpacking in through Europe. There's a nude beach somewhere in.
Oh, and
Dent-
backpacking through Europe. Summers in
I was
Martha's
backpacking.
Vineyard.
I was staying in youth.
backpacking in Europe.
I was staying at youth hostels. I was roughing it, I tell you. But I was at a nude beach in I think it was Denmark for some weird reason. And it was the same thing. Just a bunch of old silver-haired white dudes and old ladies, like just, not just being inappropriate, it's according to American values, just not appropriate at all. And young men like that are used to watching MTV videos, stuff like that, like jarring, very jarring.
That's what real sex taught me, that I never need to see that for
Yeah, it's
myself.
just not like,
And
yeah, it's
swinging is not for me.
may sound good, but like, oh, there's a camp somewhere where they just, it's all about orgasms. That sounds, like 13-year-old me, like, what? Like, how old do I have to be? Like, how many days till I turn 18? Like, how much it costs? Then you watch Real Sex. It's just like,
I do not want to go there.
I don't even want to have kids now. I'll be thinking like,
what kind of piercing is that?
Yeah, like so many. It's in Germany. What? Like
called the Prince? What?
It's in Schnurgeldorf. Like what? Something sounds like a sneeze.
Yeah.
No.
The HBO was fucked up for that. They made it like it was really.
Well, they would
and
do
they would talk to the people in the streets. Oh,
they would do those cuts. Yeah, they'd talk to like attractive young people in the streets from America. And then he'd be like in the outback of Australia.
And then you're in a masturbation class in Sweden.
Yeah. Yep. There's a camp dedicated to women that they're not having kids, but they lactate for some reason. Like it's just a bizarre.
Yeah.
But it worked. I mean, like I didn't have any kids until I was ready,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's done me. I guess Loveline probably did that to a lot of kids too. Speaking of Adam Carolla, like just hearing about like diseases and whatnot, or
I feel like Sober House and all of those Dr. Drew shows have like really curbed 1,000,000%. Like
the 16 pregnant.
So many drugs.
What was the
no
the
that
MTV
too.
shows, the pregnant teens or whatever?
That literally reduced teen pregnancy.
Oh yeah,
like there's
that scared the hell
actual
out of girls.
numbers.
Oh, good.
There's actual numbers. Yeah. Good for Dr. Drew. No one gives him credit for that, by the way.
Reduced teen pregnancy in women, increased poonhound dudes that were just like out, just like looking for easy skanks. Looking for skanks that are like, will put out.
Not skanks.
I take that in the spirit, which is intended.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's not like they were like, look at this poor teen in Beverly Hills. It was like, no, this is the trailers of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's what they did. Man, that was back when you didn't have a lot of choices in cable
No.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But yeah, that had an effect.
it did. I'm sure a ripple effect, I'm sure, over our, it kind of proves like our country kind of gloms onto things like in 2020 when everyone watched the Tiger King. Like, isn't that weird? Like that we all just kind of like
I
jumped
never
in
watched
full.
that. I never watched that. I really know very little about it.
What?
I saw the guy on the cover and I was like, I don't really want to hear from him. I got no interest in this guy.
So good. It was
I saw
so
it.
good.
He had like
I saw
he had his tips and his flair like bleached. Like, yeah, I'm like, whatever this guy's saying, I don't want it.
And he had gay crackhead relationships.
Oh,
Like,
And
it
yeah.
was
every
so
meme that I
good. It
saw
was
where that like
so
implied that he'd
juicy.
done some crime, I'm just like, yeah, I agree. Like he's guilty.
Believable.
Yeah.
It's believable. I love
Like,
it.
any dude that frosts his tips and also like keeps wild tigers, not
Right.
trustworthy. Not trustworthy at all.
Not even a
You do
little.
one or the other and it's iffy.
Yeah.
You do both, and man,
Yeah.
you probably killed somebody before.
Yep.
And I don't even know what the accusations were, if he did, or is like there's some lady named Carol involved who's like apparently not. No one's a huge fan of her.
Carol Baskin. Her husband has
Yeah.
been found. He was presumed
Alive?
dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
He lives in Brazil.
That's another thing too, is like even when he's found alive, people are still like, but people still thought you may have killed him. Like there's something to that.
Yeah.
There's something to you. There's not something. No.
It was so good though, because it was like filmed where part of it he was filming his like showing off, and the other part then they like switched up on him, and then they were like filming him of we're gonna arrest you. So like the production changed.
It's like if they were making
So
a
good.
documentary about any of our lives, but then they were and we were like, yeah, you can have all of our podcast footage, and they're like, and they just take just the most horrible shit.
Yes, exactly. Oh, there was one
And then it's like
part where
the people are
one
just
of
like, you
his
did it to
employees got
yourself.
the
You
arm
did it to
eaten off.
yourself.
His arm was eaten off by a tiger, maybe his leg. One of the things, one of the major appendages got eaten by a tiger while they were filming their documentary.
There's a lot of like, I really try to feel for people, like I try to empathize with people. Like the other day I was thinking like, I really try to appreciate craftsmen, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they build our country and they build things. But then like also like Saturday morning at 7 a.m. when one of these some bitches is out there like with his pneumatic air gun, putting up siding 50 yards from my bedroom window. I'm like, I'm kind of hoping he falls off the scaffolding.
Yeah.
So I try to empathize with humanity, but then I also like, don't feel for him as much. But like this guy, it's like there's people that, I like if there's any chance of anybody getting their arm bitten off, like I'm just not going to work there. That's just me.
Yeah.
Like whatever standards are instilled in me, at a young age, it's just like, nah, I'm not really interested in any jobs where people get their arms chewed off,
Yeah.
Or if I got a job and my arm got chewed off at that job, I would stay there, like make a change. Like,
yeah.
But some people are just like, nah, it sounds good. I think I feel they're like, some people are just like, I feel like that's the best thing for me right now.
Christopher, I feel like if you watch Chimp Island, like you should really go back and visit Tiger King. Like,
Chimp
like
Empire. Really? It's like Chimp Empire, but humans.
It's so crazy. It's like, what? It's just like, I just ate it. Everyone ate it up.
But at the same time, it's like, I think there was a lawyer for one of the people that was on Adam Carolla's show.
Oh, really?
And it's like, yeah. And it's like, it is highly produced also. Like they're trying to make things as dramatic as possible.
No. This is a lot of actual footage. Like he was recording, like he thought a reality show for himself. And he was like, oh, I'm so great. Like he was really like going into it thinking that he was making this show that was going to spotlight him as some Tiger King. And then they switched it up on him. Right, Robbie?
Well, again, that's to my point though. That it's highly produced. That like they're just trying to.
but he was the producer, I guess. So
like if they kind of flipped it up on him, like what he thought it was going to be, then it's like they had an idea what they wanted it to be. Like they were going to maximize the drama. Like, I don't know, but yeah, again, I don't know a lot about it, but it seems like I don't know.
Well, Robbie, you need to watch Empire, and Christopher, you need to watch Tiger.
I will. Yes.
I don't know.
We'll reconvene next week. Oh yeah, no, you'll be on vacation.
And then I feel like if I'm watching it, I don't know a lot that's come out afterwards. Isn't there like a second series or like a lawsuit still going on?
I never watched any of those. I just watched the first one.
Yeah.
Because it was so entertaining. And
but what about this sub?
Gonna die.
The sub. Okay, can I say a couple of things about the sub?
Mm-hmm.
The sub. So what's funny, have you guys noticed that there's
it's not gonna be a rap, is it?
No raps.
That would be too soon.
Have you guys noticed that there's two sides that make fun of or that are happy about this event that happened, like the deaths, right? Obviously there are many memes, right? People make fun of there's nothing is sacred these days. We all know this, unless it's depending what it is, right? So you've got the one side that makes fun of this because it's just five rich men. They say 5 rich men, billionaires that died. Oh well, it's not like the media focuses on or whatever other things. They're happy because of that.
Can I say part of the element of that is like when we do hear tragedies, just real quick, like part of the math in the tragedy is like, are their children going to be able to eat? So when we know that they're rich enough to buy this, that takes a lot of the like pain off of like knowing that story. Because again, normally you're like, firefighter dies. It's like, well, shit, like he's for sure the main breadwinner, and how's a kid going to eat and go to college? So it's like when this happens and you do that kind of quick math, like at least no one's going to go hungry. Like, I know that's doesn't make up for much, but like, I don't know. I'm just saying that's part of that, the money part.
Well, the billionaire stepson.
I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't have any factor in what people say or joke about, but
the billionaire stepson was on his Instagram story and said that he doesn't have $100 in his bank account, and he went to the Blink-182 concert because he had tickets. So he wasn't going to miss that.
Yeah.
No.
And he's
he doesn't, because like why he may not, because why would he have cash? But I'd be more interested in like what lines of credit does he have? Where does he stay? Does he pay his rent? Does he have a credit card? Does he have American Express Black?
No.
Does he have a chopper? Does he have a driver? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Okay, buddy. Like,
yeah.
It's like saying I don't even have $1 on my wallet. I literally don't have $1 in my wallet.
No, not an actual physical dollar. So if you got that side, that this happy, that's we've got 5 rich men, that billionaires that died. Oh well, too bad, right? Then you got the other side. There's another side on the more conservative side. I've been reading that I guess the CEO said that he wants to hire people of color or non-white people. Apparently there's somewhere where he said this, but then because for some stupid reason, I don't know. But then I see a picture of the crew, and literally out of like 27 people, like 23 people are white. So I'm like, why are these people complaining? Most of them are white anyway. I
don't feel like this guy, well, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like this guy was living a super woke life, but he probably made some woke comments when he needed to at times.
Yeah.
I know, like at this point, when anything happens in the world bad, like there's the instant Ben Shapiro filter of, he posts something, in his classic style with the, color background and big text, and it's through the anti-woke filter. Like, let me look at what bad happened. Let me find everything woke about it, or whatever, woke, or let me find everything leftist, woke, whatever, stupid, silly about it. And then like kind of put it through that. And it's like, so I know like people do it, but I think the big story here is like this guy was a wealthy entrepreneur that was cutting corners and like shucking and jiving and like cutting corners out of arrogance and greed.
Is it weird that his
and I don't know that that's not really
grandparents were on the Titanic? Is that weird?
No, because it would inspire, like, you know, it's like it would inspire him to like make this his life's. When he gets enough money where he can do what he wants, he's going to try to, like, we all do that. We all try to find something in our heritage to, like, you know, latch on to be like, oh, my great whatever was a sheep herder, so I'm going to have sheep.
Right.
You know, we all glom onto these things. So like,
you know that Ghislaine Maxwell is a submarine pilot? Is that what they're called? Pilot?
I heard she was scheduled for this trip.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, I'm serious. If she wasn't in jail, she would have been on this trip number 11.
No, she can literally drive a submarine. She has a submarine's pilot license. She had like some ocean whatever.
Yeah. And she took kids, I'm sure, right? Or young.
I'm not saying that. Girls. I'm saying that she had Google it. Google
also an expert in locking devices.
Right,
I'm not saying that.
How many bolts were locking that sub down?
She's also
17.
666 probably.
I don't know. But you know, I think part of it, like I was saying, like, so yeah, like the humanity, the human part of it is like, you know, like when you hear something tragic happen, like bus driver, you know, was, you know, like city bus driver went out to check the tire and the bus ran, like, you're just like, fuck. And there's like, all of a sudden there's a GoFundMe because like people want to make sure that the person's kids go to eat whatever, like all that. But it's like, so there's a human reaction there. And I think like when you find out that these are billionaires that were doing something, like you do the instant math, they were doing something that was really unnecessary, really risky. They sign a waiver that has like, you might implode like 5 times on the first page in bold print. And for whatever reason, for your dad's approval, for like Instagram fame, you sign it and you get on board this thing. It's like people do the instant math and there's just instantly a lot less sympathy because their loved ones are still alive, right? Their loved ones are still alive and very well taken care of. It's not like their accident left their loved ones disfigured also, like disfigured and poor, like. So I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to say it's okay. I'm just trying to say like people make that. It's a human thing to make that instant calculation to like, okay, I don't have to worry about like that part of it.
I'm going to give our society some grace in the fact that we have been bombarded with motherfuckery for 3 solid years. And so one more thing, one more dead whatever, one more person that committed suicide, one more person that was shot, one more school like we are overwhelmed.
You're right. Yeah.
Like I'm going to give our society some grace. The people that are upset with people that are being callous about this, yes, there were lives lost, but maybe just as a society we are overwhelmed and we cannot take one more thing like and feel it. We have to
maybe we're just 330 million people, humans in this country in a world of whatever 4 or 8 billion people, and you know, it's just a very human thing to where it's just we're just very human. And you know, like to your point, when like it's a very human thing, like if there's somebody out there that's like struggling and like, you know, with like all kinds of problems on their own. And part of those problems are financial to where like, well, shit, my health insurance has gone up $500 this year. That's really like, that's really gonna affect me. And then you find out like some people that paid $250,000 to go on like a 2-hour sub trip down the Titanic. And
it hurts when you can't buy your kids shoes or you can't buy bread. Like
I'm sorry. I'm not really going to apologize for humans that don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And don't take a lot of energy out of their time. Like, you know, stopping by the church to light a candle for those strangers. Like, Maybe they should. I understand the idealists out there. I do. I really do.
You know what? God bless the people that do, right? Good for them. Go whatever, but I can't.
They do this time, but they don't all the time, and they snicker.
It's like, you know who I feel sorry for in this case is the guy's son. I think he was 19.
Man, I hope he had felt the touch of a woman.
I sure hope so. But imagine this.
Like maybe he had.
Chris, we're dads, right? We're dads. And we've had.
Yeah, I mean, I joke about this situation because I really don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about what that situation would be like with my son. So
he's over there.
Want my mind going.
Exactly. He's over there trying to please his dad. He didn't, from what I understand, he didn't want to go. He was nervous. I'm sure he was scared, but he probably got pressured into it. And they say he wanted to please his dad and etc. And then there he is.
That just sounds like. I don't know. I'd have to see it in his own words or something.
Yeah.
But like if his like his auntie said that afterwards, it's like, okay, did he say that, or are you just kind of like everybody's in a very emotional state the first couple?
If that was my son down there, I would have been like on the news, like, where are the boats? Why is my son not being pulled up? If they put my son. If my ex took my son down in a submersible that was missing and there was a fucking countdown, you would see me on every channel being the craziest Indian you've ever seen in your life. Like, I would be like, why are we not?
Well, you gotta like step back and remember too, like another big thing about this is the owner, the CEO, the owner of the sub, the guy that made the sub, the guy that's got everything on the line. He went in and he was like, I'm getting in. Like, that's a tough, like,
that's a lot of confidence.
Even if your your spidey senses are going off, but like the guy that owns it, that built it, that, you presume is not suicidal, that wants to make money because he wants to, he's got a vacation plan for next week, you're like, he's getting in there. So yeah, even if your spidey senses are going off, you're thinking, even if the waiver said you might be like an imploded can of tuna, in a minute, like you might get on there, but I don't know. My personally, I, like most, like 99.9% of the people on this planet, they'd be like, oh, if I had $250,000, I would, I just have a lot better things to do with it.
Steak every night.
I'd buy illegal beef.
Yeah.
I'd buy premium crickets.
It's wild. Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. I think you're right. Like, the economy right now, like, all of it's just too much. Like, seriously, this is what people are spending their money on. Just like more.
Like the peasants nowadays, and I include myself, we're making memes about these things. In the olden days, the peasants would get pitchforks, fucking kick the castle wall down, and just start ripping people limb to limb, like ripping people's limbs off.
Right.
Like when they got frustrated with taxes and the economy and the crops.
You're right.
And the kids were hungry, they'd just be like, I'm going to make a pitchfork and go kill somebody. Like in a really bad way too. Like I'm going to do it to where like everybody remembers this shit.
Yeah.
And all we do, we're just making memes.
Yeah.
That had no effect.
Hardly even a crime. A crime at this point.
Not a crime yet. It's a crime in the UK. Crime in the,
especially where we sit right now.
That we talk about the media a lot.
I think it is a crime in Malaysia to like make fun of the missing flight. They get people kicking down. There was an American
comic. That's a whole different thing.
There's a story. There was a comedian that made a joke about MH370, the missing Malaysian Airlines flight.
Yeah. She's Asian.
Which just to, for the record, we have total respect for. I'm not joking about that at all. But yeah, she's on. The government of Malaysia asked the FBI to like track her down or something. Like, no, asked what is it? Interpol.
There's an old African American guy on TikTok that talks about that flight, and he talks about how there were like how is that flight missing? Seriously, why do we fall for every single thing that they fucking tell us? How is that flight even fucking missing?
The latest thing I
It's 8:30.
heard,
I can't.
yeah, the latest thing I heard was like it's possible that there's a malfunction to where every piece of data they had was just totally inverted and they were going in the other direction. So, and it's like, it's just with software, it's like, and then you talk to the software engineer and they're just like, is that possible? And they're like, well, yeah, technically it's possible. It's like, oh, okay. So they could be anywhere on the earth. Just it could be anywhere. I don't know. Yeah. Or it could have just blown up right where it was and then just washed away and whatever. I don't know. I really, planes go down. Planes go down.
What happened to Building 7? Like, let's just take it back.
Yeah,
and then we'll come forward. It makes everything, like, if you go there, then it's easier to come forward and realize that everything is a fucking lie. And maybe
it's possible, but I mean, like, I don't think Building 7 really, that could be totally government done, but that doesn't mean that
everything is government done.
A bunch of people on a Malaysian airline went down. Like, that was something. I don't know. It could be, but it's like, I don't know. Going to conspiracy with everything is just exhausting sometimes. It's
not
like,
everything though. It's just the things that it's like click, 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 click. All the things that keep happening. And
for me, in a world where you witness all the time, like, human arrogance and error, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there could be a pilot that's just like, well, if I put it on autopilot, the airline tracks how much of the flight I'm on autopilot. So I'm going to not put on an autopilot and I'm going to take a little nap, because they track your stats or something like that. Like, oh, it's weird, Sam, here you're on autopilot all the time. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's like, he don't want to say he's napping. So he leaves it off autopilot and then takes a nap, then wakes, has a bad dream and like flips some switches and then like you're in the water.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, we've witnessed forever, like, just human arrogance and
error,
stupidity, like mistakes, like,
sure.
Doesn't always have to be aliens,
You're right.
I mean, most of the time it is probably, whatever, but it doesn't always have to be. We just do really bad stuff. So it's like, to me, it's the whole go woke. It's like, it is kind of, darkly comical that this guy did make a speech about how, like Robbie was saying, like how, he didn't want to hire 50-year-old white males to do his design because they weren't inspirational. So like, he would hire like, all of his diversity hires were people in like really unimportant roles or something, because everybody on the tube seemed to be old and white.
Yeah.
Except I guess one was the guy maybe Indian or something, or Pakistani.
Bill always says that old white dudes are the most hated group in America. So I mean, they are a minority class.
They were if you think about it, again, hearkening back to olden times, which could be any time. It could be the 20s, could be like the Middle Ages. I could just, I don't have to be specific. Like, even back then, the peasants were also old and white, but like the bad guys were old and white too. Like, there's old white guys. Like, old white guys have always been like the kings and like the evil kings and like the, sheriff of Nottingham, or was that the bad guy in Robin Hood? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really Robin Hood. Robin Hood is what made it was like the beginning of his anti-racist movement.
Robin Hood
Whitey
was a bear, right?
They demonized old Whitey.
Yep.
Well, yeah, even back then, like it's just, there was not a lot of diversity among the peasants, but like, old Whitey was really, he was hated.
Yeah. Target.
No wonder they started the World Economic Forum. It's like, they're like, God damn, man, no matter what we do with these fucking people, like, they just hate us. Like, got cars, electric batteries, computers, I got the internet, like, man, like, and they just want to kill it. They still hate us all. Like, they blame us for everything.
It's true.
Come on.
Old Whitey.
Yeah, I don't blame them now. I might even donate to the WEF now, the World Economic Forum, because like these poor guys can't catch a break, man.
I might too.
Can't catch a break. They're like making the world go
for
around.
All the things I said.
Building giant container ships, to like move your, Nintendo controllers around the world so that, we can play Sonic the Hedgehog for $29.99. They get no appreciation whatsoever. Klaus Schwab, I tell you, man, he's the victim in this world.
Yeah. I really feel this has changed my heart about him. I feel worse for him.
We're on to something here.
Yeah.
But seriously, I wonder, it doesn't matter what color. Like if like it was just a group of red people were like doing all these things, also like accumulating massive wealth because they keep doing all these things. Like, yeah. And it's like, it would just be like, they'd be like, we these people, all these other people that aren't red or really hate us, man. We should probably form a group. We should start a council where we kind of look out after each other. Because man, like these are some unappreciative sons of bitches out there.
Yeah, that is a very interesting take.
I don't know, like Antifa, did you invent an MRI machine? Like,
nope.
Did you invent a machine that can detect cancer? Like, no. Oh, you didn't? Oh, okay. Well, we did, and you keep trying to burn it. You keep burning us in effigy.
Yeah.
What gives?
We gave you Greta Thunberg.
And you gave us. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's where the resentment comes back.
I'm sure. Yeah.
She's the new face of old Whitey. Yeah, Greta Thunberg's the new face of old white man.
Some people don't even know who she is. To live in that world, oh boy.
Someone needs to slap her parents. I got banned from, I don't know, Twitter or something for a little while for something like that. Just like somebody needs to slap her parents.
Where are her parents?
That was my go-to for a while.
Is she even real? Where are her parents?
Yeah, exactly. Is she AI?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I have no respect for them. I don't care what they do.
I know.
You could do like free birth, childcare, free whatever.
Yeah.
You made a demon spawn. And you set her on the world.
Oh my god.
Now I'm going to the beach. It's going to cost us an extra $50 in gas because there's a winch.
Thanks a lot, really, old Whitey.
For real.
And we went full circle.
Don't get me talking about the Biden crime family again, circling back.
No.
Distractions to all the stuff that's come out about.
You know what, Christopher? I think you should start your vacation now.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we kill some time for us and for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Robbie's getting tired too. So.
Yeah, I can see him. He's leaning back.
Every day
Hans Gruber's about to swoop in. Hans Gruber the third.
The third. What's his name? The guy from Harry Potter. Die Hard. Every day we get up at 4 a.m. Last night, the baby wouldn't go to sleep, and thankfully,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways,
I had to get up at 5 this morning, and I was thinking, I don't know how Robbie does this. This is nuts.
Yeah, we get up at 4.
I started waking up at like 5:45 just on my own, and I used to try to go back to sleep. Now I just get up, walk around, walk outside.
Yeah. What I do every Saturday though, I should get up late, but I don't for a couple of reasons. One reason, usually I want to take care of the baby so my wife can get some rest and sleep, happy wife, happy life. Yeah. And then, so what I do that, but many times on Saturdays, I'll go get donuts. There's a donut place in the house, get donuts, have some coffee and donuts, and I like to, relax. Come on.
And then you go home.
What's that? And then I go home. Yeah. I go get coffee and donuts for my second family here. And then, like a lot of men I grew up hearing about, not my own dad, but right. So many people had like second families. I don't know how that worked.
Well, I can't say I hear about that a lot. I mean, I'm aware of that it happens. I was just thinking the same thing though, because can you imagine now, like the energy that would take?
Yeah, I can't.
What now, like Hispanic dudes could never get away with that, right? With like the extended family, like all the in-law, like all the family around, that's like insane amount of work.
Yeah, I can't do it. And then eventually you're gonna bump into the second wife or the girlfriend somewhere else.
Yeah. Only a white guy with like a nuclear family can pull that shit off, where he's got like 2 kids. That's it. Like they don't go anywhere outside of like 3 miles from where they live and go to school. And
you have one kid assigned to soccer, and then the other kid does like a volleyball or something. So you don't want the same kid, the kids, meeting each other, and then you got to go to their got to be smart about that.
I see you've put more thought in this than me.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right, you two.
All right. Have a good vacation, Christopher.
Thanks a lot.
And I hope you catch many sharks.
Oh, we're gonna catch a lot of fish. Yeah, we're gonna catch a lot.
Chris, don't get inside any submarines.
No.
Oh no. Not that I don't make myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, you could ride away for a submarine on the back of the thing. It was cardboard. Anyways.
Oh, I should get like a cardboard box and some Flex Seal.
Yeah.
Flex Seal.
Like like an aerator you put in a fish tank with some hose.
Oh yeah.
Good to go.
Get some hose?
Huh?
Wow. Did you say hose? Okay.
Not hose in different area codes, Robbie. Those hose.
Some garden hose,
Yeah.
Of the outside variety. Your garden variety hose.
All right. Well,
enjoy.
Get it on.
Yeah, get it on, everybody. Do what you want.
Get it on, guys.